This is Roger Bannister. Roger is about to become the first man to ever break the 4-minute mile barrier. To put that time into perspective for you, he's running at an average speed of 15 miles an hour. And here's what I look like trying to run 15 miles an hour on a treadmill. So obviously, I'm not getting to 4-minute mile pace. That is Olympic level speed. But what I want to do for the next 8 weeks is see if I can train and get fast enough to run a sub 5-minute mile. So to start things off, I'm gonna be hitting the track, timing myself, and seeing how I measure up on day 1. My time on day 1 is 7 minutes and 48 seconds. I didn't think I'd do a whole lot better than that, but I was hoping to come in under 7:30. Anyway, that leaves me with almost 3 whole minutes to shave off of my time in just 8 weeks. For week 1, my goal is to train 6 days a week. That includes jogging 30 to 40 minutes 4 times a week, hitting the gym 3 times with a focus on strengthening my lower body and core, and I run 10 wind sprints twice a week at a nearby soccer field. Okay, so I've just finished week 1, and I'm really thinking this is a challenge I should not be taking on by myself. So I've called in and I've made an appointment to meet with Chris Shepard of the Runners Academy to try and get some advice on how I should be proceeding with my training and what I should be doing with my next 7 weeks.
And why did you choose 5 minutes? More specifically.
Seems like a nice even number.
Yeah. Have you run a mile before?
I've run a mile. Chris is a little skeptical of the timeline I've given myself, but he's encouraging. And he starts running me through a series of exercises to see where I'm at.
We're gonna start just getting you running, okay? We'll get you running. I'll look at some things. There might be some from a movement, strength, flexibility standpoint that we're gonna look at today. Okay? But let's start here. The key points here with Brendan's running are that he was overreaching, heel striking, which puts on the brakes. So from a performance standpoint and from an injury risk standpoint, that's something that we want to avoid, okay? And the concept that we try to teach our athletes that running is more about applying force downward in a specific direction very quickly. And then the action that we want through the hips is a piston action, so this up-down motion, regardless of what running speed. So we've given Brendan some drills to help reinforce this, and we're going to talk more specifically about incorporating this into his training.
I start incorporating Chris's exercises the next week. They're designed not only to foster better running mechanics, but also develop balance and strengthen my supporting muscles that are crucial for running. That's lovely. With each stride, I want to create a 90-degree angle between my waist, my foot, and the track, so that all of my force is applied straight into the ground, propelling me forward. I keep this in mind on week 3 as I time myself on the 100, 200, and 400 meter sprints. Time! So Cam just gave me my time, and I ran the 400 meter in 82 seconds. I need to be able to run the 400 meter 4 times and average 75 seconds a lap. And I have just 5 weeks to get there. When I took on this challenge, I had no idea how physically taxing it would be on my lower body and back. I have to foam roll 20 to 30 minutes every day after my runs, stretch out and working out my body, and even still, there are days I wake up feeling stiff, sometimes limping, because running is just such a high impact sport. Outside of figuring out how physically demanding running is, here's what I've learned so far during this challenge. 1, you have to be patient. Building cardiovascular strength is a long and painful process that requires you to give your absolute max when you're doing circuits. This week, I'm running 12 circuits of 400 meters with 90 seconds rest, and even still, the results take time. Secondly, you have to train for speed. Going for longer and longer jogs might get you in shape, but it will do very little to actually make you run faster. To do that, you have to work on doing sprints, strengthen your supporting muscles, and run with proper technique. And finally, buy actual running shoes. I picked these up at a sports store in the running section before I started my training, and they're junk. They're actually sneakers. So don't be like me, do some actual homework before you make a purchase. I have 2 weeks left to go in my training, and I cannot convey enough both how tiring and at times demoralizing this process has been, but I am too far along and too far invested to even think about giving up now. So I'm back at the same track 8 weeks from the day of when I did my original run at 7:48. So I'm gonna do about a 20-minute warm-up. The only thing that has really changed is I've got a new pair of actual running shoes. So I'm gonna do a 20-minute pre-workout, warm my body up, and then it's go time. Go. Because I'm excited, I start out running faster than I should, which puts me at risk of burning out too soon. I need to slow down if I want to have anything left for the second half of this race. Finish lap 1 in 92 seconds and complete lap 2 in 98. Unfortunately, my technique still isn't great. I'm swinging my arms much more than I should be, and my running posture starts to break down as I get tired. When I finish lap 3, my time has fallen all the way to 114 seconds. I'm exhausted, and I still have one more lap to fight my way through. In the end, I finished with 6 minutes and 40 seconds, which is 100 seconds slower than I thought it would go, but...
Yeah, well, when we talked about this through your journey.
Yeah.
You know, when you first came in, I was okay.
I had genuinely no idea how incremental the improvement would be for something like this.
The top, middle distance runners, they spend years, doing this. And it takes a long time to build an aerobic engine. And so when you came in sitting in front of me, I'm like, I don't know who you are. Maybe you are a genetic freak and you've got this huge engine, so I wasn't gonna shoot you down day one. However, reality is no one does this. Okay?
Good to know now.
No one does this. I think your aerobic strength, right, needs some work. So you were good through, like, let's say 3/4 of some of the workouts, and then your time's really tanked, right? So that means working on your overall aerobic base, which means running more, right? So some of the top middle distance runners that I work with, they're running, an 800 meter or a mile, 1500 meter race. They're still on the weekend doing a 20K plus long run.
Okay.
Right? At the elite level, right? Because it is, 80-90% an aerobic event. Okay, and you have to build that aerobic engine. In the end, I fell well short of my original 5-minute mile goal, which in hindsight just seems ludicrous for me to have picked out. But I did manage to shave 1 minute and 18 seconds off my original time, so there was serious progress made. My job going forward now is really just to see if I can keep building off of that progress and not fall back to the state I was before this challenge. So I'm gonna take a week off running just to let my body rest, recover. But after that, I'm lacing up my shoes, heading back into the cold, and I'm gonna see if I can get any closer to that 5-minute mile pace. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching, and I want to give a special thanks in this challenge to Chris Shepard and everyone at the Runners Academy who were so helpful for the entirety of this challenge. Honestly, I would have just been completely lost without their guidance. If you want to see all of the stretching and a lot of the training exercises that I did for this challenge, you can find all of those in the full breakdown
through their YouTube channel, which I'm linking over here. And if you are lucky enough to live in the great city of Toronto, you should check out their website, which is linked below. Honestly, they're just a first-class organization all the way through, and I plan on visiting them again as I keep going with my running goals.